Having embarked on a journey back to the American frontier with Red Dead Redemption 2, I found myself captivated by the game's immersive storytelling and breathtaking landscapes. As I ventured deeper into the Wild West, I couldn't help but wonder how this epic tale would unfold visually on the latest Xbox consoles, Series S and Series X. With a keen eye for detail and a thirst for comparison, I delved into the graphical differences between these two machines to uncover how Rockstar's masterpiece fared on Microsoft's next-gen platforms. Join me as we traverse the vast prairies, rugged mountains, and bustling towns of Red Dead Redemption 2, examining every pixel and frame to discern the nuances of each console's performance and visual prowess. I'm Rich Poorman, and this is the graphics comparison of Red Dead Redemption 2. So let's start our comparison with the resolution and draw distance. Indeed, the stark contrast between Xbox Series S and Series X in Red Dead Redemption 2 is immediately noticeable. Sadly, the game works with the third-gen version, and this amplifies the visual gap. Series S, unfortunately, lags behind, running the Xbox One S version, leading to a notably lower visual fidelity. In stark contrast, Series X benefits from the One X version, but it's lacking of the full optimizations of the next-gen consoles. The resolution disparity is glaring. Series S struggles at 720p and 30 FPS, resulting in a somewhat muddy and lackluster appearance. Meanwhile, Series X stands tall at 2160p and 30 FPS, offering a 4K resolution, although it marred by occasional shimmerings and flickers, remnants of the game's unoptimized state for the latest hardware. These disparities highlight the pressing need for a dedicated next-gen update to fully unleash the potential of Red Dead Redemption 2 on both consoles. In terms of draw distance, Series S manages to display the same objects on the screen as Series X, but the lower resolution takes a toll. Even objects relatively close are plagued by shimmering and flickering, a visual nuisance that becomes more pronounced with distance. Meanwhile, Series X excels with its crisp and detailed rendering of objects and trees in the far-off distance. The enhanced clarity showcases the significant disparity between the two consoles, emphasizing the visual compromises experienced on Series S. Examining the textures and shadows in the game provides an interesting perspective for our comparison. Despite the slight blurriness due to the lower resolution on Series S, the quality of textures is surprisingly comparable to Series X. Distinguishing between the two consoles becomes a challenge in this regard, highlighting the commendable performance of Series S in delivering impressive textures and shadows. Examining the character models, a pivotal aspect of any game, reveals notable differences between Series S and Series X. Let's begin with the shaving section, a detailed moment in the game. Regrettably, due to the lower resolution and reliance on the old-gen version, Series S showcases fewer hair strands on Arthur's head compared to the crisp detail visible on Series X. The limitations in resolution also result in significant shimmering issues, particularly noticeable in Arthur's hair, caused by inadequate anti-aliasing due to the lower resolution on Series S. Furthermore, the texture quality on Arthur's clothes suffers on Series S, appearing noticeably blurry in contrast to the sharp and well-defined textures on Series X. Lastly, don't forget the blurry reflection on the mirror on Series S. This discrepancy underscores the disparity in visual fidelity between the two consoles, emphasizing the compromises made on Series S in comparison to its more powerful counterpart. Unfortunately, Series S, due to its reliance on an old-gen version of the games and their lower resolution, does not provide an ideal experience for gamers who enjoy playing old-gen titles through the Xbox backward compatibility feature. For instance, in this specific scene, it's quite evident that the lampposts in the background appear incomplete and suffer from a lack of anti-aliasing like all the other objects on the background when playing on Series S, contrasting with the more polished presentation on Series X. In contrast, Series X leverages the 4K One X versions of unupdated games, ensuring a superior visual experience. Meanwhile, Series S is limited to running the 720p 1S versions, resulting in a significant graphical disparity between the two consoles. Series S has an hardware capable of handling older games, ideally in at least 1080p. But regrettably, Red Dead Redemption 2 is no exception to this rule, plagued by anti-aliasing issues and an overall subpar visual quality on Series S. Now let's proceed to the FPS test to evaluate the gaming performance of both consoles. In the FPS comparison table, both consoles perform consistently, maintaining a stable 30 frames per second. Despite the graphical disparities between the two, the gameplay experience remains relatively smooth, ensuring a consistent frame rate for players on both Series S and Series X. In conclusion, the graphics comparison between Xbox Series S and Series X in Red Dead Redemption 2 highlights the significant differences stemming from the console's processing power and resolution capabilities. While both of the consoles relies on the old-gen versions of the game, Series X, with its superior hardware, delivers a more refined and visually appealing experience, especially in older titles like Red Dead Redemption 2. Series S, on the other hand, struggles due to its lower resolution and bad graphics. Players seeking an enhanced and immersive gaming experience on the old titles are more likely to find satisfaction with Series X. So thank you for watching us. Please subscribe and like if you loved this video.